Are you ready for the Design Trendsetter Report for 2023? Hello, my friends, and welcome back. My name is Andrea Eppolito. I am a luxury wedding planner and event designer based in Las Vegas, Nevada, and we come together celebrating life, luxury, and above all else, love. Last week, we talked quite a bit about global wedding trends, what you can expect to see in design, in food, in entertainment. What are the things that our couples are really gravitating towards this year? Today, we are specifically going to talk about aesthetics. Today, we're going to talk about design elements and what you can expect to see in ceremonies, in receptions. This is a great tutorial for couples who are planning and designing their own wedding. It's also really important for other wedding planners, other event designers, for florists, rental houses, and venues to understand what elements our couples are currently looking for and how you can incorporate these, how you can suggest them, because as the expert, as the person that your couple looks to guide them through the process, these are the things that you can do to help elevate their wedding and your work above everything else that's going to be happening this year. So let's get into it. The first thing that we are seeing are fashion-forward tables. Now, when I say fashion-forward, I mean very specifically derived from the fashion, most often, that the bride herself is wearing. So I have some examples. Let's take a look at this gorgeous dress from Berta. Now, if you look at this, you can see that the dress has a very subtle, very soft applique. Yes, it looks floral, but if you really drill down, you can see that there's some texture and that the pattern is actually lifted off of the dress, that there is kind of a 3D element to it, and that the ad for this dress, the way that the dress is shown, is very much in a garden setting with quite a bit of greenery, foliage, very soft florals. Now look next to it at the table. The actual linen is also applique, and the applique takes its shape from that kind of abstract leaf motif. And so when you put the dress next to the table, it tells this very beautiful fashion story where if she was standing behind it, in a way you almost can't tell where the dress ends and the table begins. The florals themselves on this particular table are very soft. They're very open. They're very organic. You can see the stems coming up. You can see the way that they lift off the table, the way that the applique lifts off the dress. So it's a really beautiful way to incorporate the bridal fashion to the table design. Again, another beautiful Berta dress that we have. This dress is clearly a celebration of lace and of structure. And the way that the dress has been accessorized with this kind of beautiful gold crown, it feels very regal. You have this gorgeous warm tone to it, but it's very couture and it's all very intentional. Now this dress, this crown, this bridal aesthetic gets paired with a table that once again is a tremendous celebration of lace. You have this lace rosette overlay on top of your very simple, clean white linen. If you look very closely into it, you see that there's a gold threading. And then we created a crown for the table where you have this charger that has a gold rim. You have gold flatware. You have accents that feel and look like jewelry, so that the tablescape is directly derived from what the bride has chosen to wear. Getting to know your couples, whether it's a bride or a groom, any combination of the two, is really important. Talking about fashion, how they want to look. Are they going to be incredibly formal and structured? Because if so, two grooms in black on black tuxedos are going to call for a beautiful high gloss black table. A bride who is looking for something a little bit fun and a little bit flirty, maybe with feathers, means that you are going to have a softer linen. This is a great way to visually tell a story in your design. The second thing that we are going to see quite a bit of is abundant florals. I do not believe that 2023 is going to be the year of the minimalist. I think that we are going to see over-the-top interpretations of romance and of love and of splendor and of really wanting to create something special. And when it comes to wedding design, there are very few things that do that, like flowers. And so you are going to see things en masse. Tons of roses, tons of greenery, tons of baby breath. You're going to see repetition, repetition, repetition. So you take a color and you weave it from one side of the room to the other, all in florals. You do floral table runners that go down the entire length of the table. You have anything architectural that can be covered in a flower. So whether it's the staircases and you have the roses coming down, or the lining and the edging of the table, or even of a dance floor, you are going to see a tremendous abundance of florals. And if you're out there and you're designing and you're saying, budget-wise, I don't know what I can afford to spend, this is where you really want to turn around, find one flower, one piece of greenery, one accent in floral, buy a ton of it, and put it everywhere. It makes a tremendous statement. And this is going to allow you to play with size and scale. So let me give you an example of a very, very big ballroom. Unless you have 500 people, there is a vastness to it. And a lot of people would say, we have to make it smaller. We have to bring it in. We have to make it more intimate. I see people going the other way. And I believe that people want to celebrate the size, and they want to play with the fact that if you have very, very, very tall ceilings, maybe you're keeping a lot of things low to the ground because you want that open space. You want people to be able to have their eyes wander. You want there to be space to breathe. Negative space is not always a negative thing. It can actually be quite beautiful, so that as a guest, if I'm sitting, I can see through the space. I can look over the ceremony and I can look over to the other side and I can see where people are sitting. I can walk in and find a garden below me and something up above happening in the ceiling, but my eye can still go. It's not cluttered. It's not about shoving as many things in as possible. When you have flowers, they are still en masse. You still have big gardenscapes. You still have tables that are filled, but you are leaving space between the top and the bottom to play with that size and that scale. And to that end, in the design world, things are looking up, quite literally, to the sky. Ceiling installations are going to be huge this year in 2023. Now, a lot of people, when you think of a ceiling installation, the first thing you think is a floral chandelier. And there's nothing wrong with those. We love floral chandeliers. We love boxes that are covered in florals where the florals are all coming down. But you're not just limited to that. You're seeing pieces that are a lot more artistic. For example, we did a mix of chandeliers and these beautiful columns covered in a green moss. We've also done all crystals instead of chandeliers, very, very light on the floral, but a big statement with crystals and with texture and with light balls, because you want people to be able to look up into the sky and see something dazzling and see something that glistens and see something that interests them and that adds light. And when we are doing these big floral pieces that are done en masse, they still have a lighting component to them. So maybe we have a grid and the grid is completely black. And then inside we have a ton of florals in one color pattern floral that repeats over and over and over again, because just the abundance of it is so impressive and so beautiful to look at. But you make it interesting and you stop it from falling flat by hitting it with different lights that play differently. So as you move around the room, it's the same flower, it's the same color, it's the same pattern, but it dances in your eye because the light hits it at a different way depending on where you are standing. We are going to see mixed materials this year. So it's not, people don't just want one congruent thing. They are not just limiting themselves to one style. You are going to see people playing with materiality in a way that they haven't really done in the past. So perhaps you have a beautiful lakeside wedding and you want to celebrate the outdoors. You want to bring in the wood. You want to bring in the cotton, but you still want a touch of glam. Expect to see, instead of wooden, utensils, instead of seeing wooden chargers, you're gonna see maybe a stone, maybe a ceramic. You're gonna see gold edge. You're gonna see gold flatware, because this is a great way to mix the really beautiful natural elements with something that's a little bit more glamorous. If you're inside in a ballroom and everything is really decidedly glam, where you have mirror-topped tables and you have a high shine kind of textured patterned plateware and chargers, you're going to go the opposite. And instead of going with an acrylic, which I think would be what most people are expecting, you're gonna see a really thick, flat, heavy linen piece. So you're gonna see paper that has a texture to it, but that doesn't have the same finish, because people want to play with the eye. They want you to look at it and realize how interesting it is and how much time they've put in to selecting each and every piece. You're also gonna see things that people can touch. So again, when you sit down at the table, maybe you have a beautiful pattern and something interesting and a little bit shiny for your linen. And then you have this glass charger and you have the gold rim. But when you pick up the menu is done in velvet, because in your hand, it feels so decidedly different from the charger and from the linen. So you are gonna see mixed materials. You're gonna see people mixing high shine with very flat. You're gonna see people mixing gold and jewel tones with natural elements like wood and like stone. And this allows people to really get very, very granular and very specific. And they don't have to feel like they're stuck with just, oh, you're glam, then that's all you can be. It allows them to show a lot more of their personality. Now, in 2023, we are going to continue to see interior design influences. 2020, 2021, and part of 2022, we were all still stuck in our homes. Our homes have become our haven. We have spent more time decorating them. We want them to look and feel like vacations. We care so deeply about our creature comforts, and we've gotten so comfortable in our homes and in entertaining in our home and to opening up our homes up again. It's really been this beautiful revival of interiors. And so you're gonna see that happening more and more in weddings. We're just gonna double down on it. So as a designer, what are you looking for? You are looking for real dining chairs. We are moving away from the shafari. We are moving far away from the hotel chairs. And we're looking for things that you would see in a model home. Beautifully upholstered chairs. We're looking for traditional dining tables. So wood top tables with interesting legs that you're not looking to cover with a linen. We're looking for place mats instead of chargers, and a placemat can be made out of paper. It can be made out of stone. This one right here was made almost out of a shell material, and it lays flat. This is how you would set a table if somebody was coming to dinner. You would have a placemat, you would have your glasses, you would have your utensils, and so we are setting things more like dinner parties than ever before. And we're creating conversational groupings, much like we have in our yards. So think about the patio furniture that you see when you go to a model home. Think about the formal living room where people would entertain, where they would go for maybe a glass of wine and a fireplace, beautiful big coffee table, little end tables, and big lush pieces of furniture, all touched with things like books, like candles, and like flowers. Now, I know we've talked about lots of things in color. People love their neutrals again. There's these two very opposite areas. You have massively bold color, or you have clean neutrals. I did my first wedding of the year. The color palette was not just white on white. It was white with cream, with ivory, with champagnes. There is a tonality to the neutrals that is making them so much more interesting and a lot less flat. So if you have somebody that comes to you and says, I want to be really neutral, I want to be really white, I want white on white. We all know I love a white wedding. I will never get enough of white weddings, but it's not enough to be flat. You need to take that white and you need to add depth to it by adding in almost a shadow color of a platinum or a gray. You need to warm it up with more of a champagne drape. And you really want to layer in your neutrals with the accent pieces. So think about an off-white ivory carpet with a champagne drape that then makes your white velvet chairs look a little bit warmer. And then when you put a high gloss white table in there, it actually looks shiny and vibrant and true white, but you're able to experience and enjoy each individual element because they are just ever so slightly off from each other. So every piece has an opportunity to shine on its own. When you stand back, the room is still very neutral. It's not busy, it's not fussy. There's not a lot of competing going on with the tonality, but everything flows into the other pieces really beautifully. And it's when you look and you carefully observe that you get those really special touches. The next design element that we are going to see, I'm calling it the feminine mystique. There's been a return to softness, to femininity, and you're gonna see this in a number of ways. We've talked about the flowers, but you're gonna see that the flowers are going to be big and they're gonna be organic and free-forming so that they have movement and that they have life and they have this lush texture to them. When you sit down at a table, you're gonna see very feminine touches. So individual roses, tons of candlelight, a lot of glass, a lot of mirror. We're gonna see pink. Pink is, oh my gosh, and I don't know if this is Barbiecore or what it is, but pink has this beautiful revival right now, but it's a sophistication in pink. It's not just a baby pink. Again, it's about a tonality. It's about finding a soft pink that you kind of punch up a little bit with a beautiful bright pink, with a fuchsia, with maybe a hot pink, or you're gonna take that pink and you're gonna mix it with an orange peach. Everything very soft, everything very feminine, everything very beautiful, but without the edge of masculinity, without the edge of modern kind of touches. You're not seeing as many strong, straight lines. You're seeing things that feel voluptuous and that feel organic and that bring life into a space in a very, very feminine way. And with that, we are bringing the outside in. There are so many ways to do this. I love a good tree moment, trees. I love them. I love trees. I love arches. Again, en masse. You take a piece of greenery and you wrap an arch completely with it so that you have this one massive piece that really makes a statement. You're gonna see trees in the middle of tables and they're just gonna kind of grow out from the center and almost be covering people with their branches. Trees are going to be at the corner of dance floors. They're gonna be freestanding because there is something whimsical and romantic, but at the same time, depending on how you build it, also very elegant. So you may see a white tree dripping with orchids, or you may see a green tree. You may see a garden. I love a garden moment, whether it is as an escort card reveal or whether it is as the center of a U-shaped table, making a U shape or a hollow square and then platforming it up and putting flowers all throughout it so that when you're on one side of the table and you're looking over at the other, you're actually looking over this big, massive garden. It's a beautiful way to bring the outside in. And I said it in the last video and I'm gonna say it again. How you present your work, how you present your design is going to matter more now than ever before. So I'm going to share with you some architectural renderings that we did in 2022 that we are also continuing to do in 2023. There are so many concept artists that are out there at your disposal that you can engage and you can ask them, can you do a 3D layout for me? Social Tables is doing 3D layouts. All Seated is doing 3D layouts. Mary is doing beautiful 3D renderings. And you can add in the color. You can add in the flower. You can actually design a tabletop. You want to start with your overall inspiration board. And then you want to give people a really beautiful understanding of what they can expect when they produce this event. And 5 years ago, 10 years ago, getting a concept artist to do these drawings and do these renderings for you was not only rare, but it was costly and it was very time consuming. But there are so many options on the internet today. You can even take a picture and sketch over it yourself. Take the picture, print it, put it down, put a white piece of paper on top of it, sketch it, scan the sketch into your iPad or your phone or your laptop, and then use something like Procreate to color it in. The most important thing is that we are better than Pinterest, that we are better than we used to be, and that as businesses, we are evolving to show our clients a world that doesn't yet exist, but that we see in our minds, being able to show them, this is what I've created for you, will go a tremendous way in helping you earn trust, and that trust gives you permission to take the next step. These, my friends, are the emerging design trends for 2023. They are the things that we are going to be seeing all over and often. Being able to have fashion-forward tables, abundant florals, playing with size and scale, knowing that things are looking up and that you are going to have beautiful ceiling installations with mixed materials down at the ground level, having an interior design influence with neutral palettes, and then still going out and bringing in feminine touches with lots of organic, bringing the inside out and the outside in. These things are going to be huge for 2023. This Trendsetter Report was a presentation that I gave at the Wedding MBA in 2022 here in Las Vegas. I will be speaking again at Wedding MBA this year. And until then, if you have any questions, any comments, any concerns, anything that you want to ask me about, please go to andreaeppolito.com/ask. This community exists for you. I'm thrilled to be able to share my love of all things wedding, lifestyle, and beauty with you. Until next time, I am Andrea Eppolito, celebrating life, luxury, and above all else, love. We'll talk again soon.